Thermaltake, don't make this difficult. Help me out. Welcome to another episode of ChadrickTech. In this episode, I want to talk about Thermaltake. And I have built a lot of systems in their chassis. One, because I do like Thermaltake and their chassis. They're easy to build in. They're overall durable. They've put up with me carrying them around in different situations, testing in certain situations. And I've built a lot of systems. I've built in the W100 for the office rig. I have built a penthouse system in the Tower 600 case. My sim rig is built in the Tower 500 case. I built a tin can system. It's a gray, I call it the tin can. It's a gray Tower 300. And I built the Mrs. Workstation out of the Tower 250. And I have my test benches in the Thermaltake P3 and the P3 Pro, and an additional P3 Pro because the chassis was that nice to work in, for where I was contemplating building another test bench. But I'm going to wait for other series to come out. So that one's in the waiting. I've also built in the Core V1. That's for the media machine behind you. You've seen that where I put a 120 millimeter AIO in that system. Yes, I use an AIO. I know. And the Core V21 for another workstation build, holding the 30. It's holding my 3090 right now. And this is the View series for the living room PC when I'm downstairs with the family. And then this was the first media machine with an ITX build in the View case. Okay, so with all of that, I've been overall very pleased with the build quality, with how they are to work with. And I had to contact customer support recently and did not get a positive outcome, but I'm not here to complain about Thermaltake. I'm really not. How I feel about them might not be the way you feel about them, but I'm not here to talk about feelings. I'm here to talk about what happened, and then maybe it will make you more informed moving forward, not just dealing with Thermaltake, but learning about how maybe some of these other companies might also be operating. It's for you to understand and take care of your financial situation and money when you're going to put money toward a company or a chassis or whatever the component is. So in this situation, I wanted to expand the office rig, and I purchased the pedestal for the W100. This is the P100, the pedestal for the Core W100 series of modular cases. These are really fascinating cases. Modular, you can build in them, you can alter them. They're really fun to work with, and you have to put them together. And so I put this together, and I realized it doesn't fit in my desk situation because I miscalculated and it's not going to fit. This is too tall. Okay, so here we are in the office and looking at the office rig where it actually sits here with the desk. The desk I have, very old desk, but I like it because it's a hardwood executive desk. Nothing really fancy. I'm just a hardwoods and leather and that type of style kind of guy. And a lot of the desks I'm looking at seem to be a lot of plastic and so it's hard to replace this desk. And so I was trying to come up with a way because I wanted to expand this server, believe it or not. So I wanted to add the business NAS and use another system and expand it to where I was able to add the pedestal and then not add a bunch of space or things to the system. So you can see where it sort of sits up just tight enough. There's probably 2 or 3 inches on the other side. It allows plenty of intake, and then it exhausts out the top and out the front. So there's an intake on the back and an intake on the right side closest to the desk. There is a shadow there, but there is enough space there to actually bring air in. And 3 200 millimeter fans are bringing air in. That was sufficient, but I thought, what if I would just add the pedestal to this, and that would free up not having to build another chassis in the office here for this. I'm going to try my hand at a true NAS server and add 4 to 6 drives, because right now my QNAPs are working well, but they're media servers for the family, and I wanted to have something dedicated just to the business side of backups and just a little bit of redundancy. So I thought, well, perfect. Let's look at this pedestal. Okay. So when you see the P100 expansion pedestal, I miscalculated my measurements. I thought perhaps I was going to have to change how we were exhausting things out the top of the case, but I really wanted to be able to set the server down on top of this. And as you can tell, we don't have enough clearance to tuck it in, keep it nice and tidy. It would have to be pulled farther out away from the desk. And I contemplated that, and I thought that's good enough. But then I think that would just look goofy. And then I thought, let's build taller feet onto the bottom of the desk to give myself the clearance. But then the way the keyboard and the arm and the way I would actually work at the desk would have been adversely affected and uncomfortable, and that wouldn't have been a good solution either. So here I have a $150 pedestal that I'm trying to incorporate into this build. So I thought, well, that's easy enough. Let's just, and I've seen this in other trade shows where they've actually stacked pedestals and used the pedestals to actually make the cubes in the cases and not use the full case that I have here, just use 1 or 2 pedestals. So I thought, oh, perfect. Let's just contact Thermaltake, and I'll get an additional top and pay whatever it is that they needed to have a top. And then I've got a cube now that I could build in and not have this money go to waste. That proved to be quite an ordeal, unfortunately. And so I was going to set it right up here on top of the desk, this location, and it will fit up there. If I swing the monitor arms sort of inverse, instead of having them swing out, I can have them swing in, still hit the same angle, but it's up there on the desk with me. So having it up there on the top of the desk would have worked, just as a way of trying not to waste $150. So I reached out to Thermaltake, and it was a struggle, saying that it's end-of-life products. The Core series is end-of-life, and they don't support them anymore. There's no parts available for them anymore. They can't help me. Okay, so here we are on the Thermaltake website. And when you filter for the Super Tower chassis, they have a lot of really cool designs. And I know these are older cases, and they've tried to revamp them with the AX line. And I know that there's no such thing as bad publicity, so, doing what I can to support Thermaltake, but they've struggled to support me. And let me show you where the confusion lies. So you scroll down here to the older series, the Core W200, the Core W100, the pedestals, Core P100 and P200. The Core 100, as of today, 10/22 at 10:38 hours, sold out. You go to the Core P100, which is the pedestal, to make the WP100 with the case and pedestal together. You can still purchase this. Add it to the cart, $149. When you download the manual, you get the entire manual for the W100 and the P100 to make the WP installation. Fully modular case. Really do enjoy this case. The problem is, when I purchased this and you see it in other trade shows, that's what I wanted. Because, as you saw, that it doesn't actually fit under my desk in the combined WP chassis form. So, to leave the W100 assembled and then buy the P100 and obtain a lid, whether it comes with a lid, looks like it does to me, it's listed on their website, right? Or reach out and say, I just needed a lid. The other pictures do not appear that the lid was available on the stock image. Nice low shot showing that, but it seems like the lid is available or comes with it. Doesn't say that it doesn't anywhere. Now I understand it's designed to work with it. So when reaching out to Thermaltake, I was expecting, since it's currently available for purchase, that they would still support the chassis that they're selling. I just didn't get the right people's ear, apparently. Would appreciate being able to make a cube out of this and not tear apart another chassis just for the lid. It just seems ridiculous to not be able to find a lid to these chassis anymore. I realize it's an older platform, but it's really unfortunate. So we went round and round. This was going on way too long, unfortunately. And it's almost like I didn't get the right people reading the email, right? So I don't know who's working the customer service or what kind of authority they have. Or I even spoke with a gentleman on the phone. He was very polite, very professional. We just don't have parts. But you can still order the chassis from them. You can still order this on the website. It's still coming from Thermaltake. They're still selling them, but it's end of life. So be careful, because companies may be selling you a product of what they have excess for, but not be able to support them and call them end of life so that they don't have to support them. And that's really unfortunate, where I feel like I kind of got burned here. When I finished with Thermaltake, and it took at least 2-3 weeks of back and forth, and I felt like whoever picked up the ticket didn't read the conversation of my request of, hey, just what do I got to do to get a lid? Like, I'm trying to be reasonable. Let's get a lid, or use the other line, the AX line. Let's try to build something there. Let me make use of the money that I've spent. It sounded like it fell on deaf ears. And then finally, when I posted, hey, here's what it looks like on your website. Here's what I can buy right now, but you say you don't have product, but you're selling product. And then to not support the product, it's end of life. Sorry. The response was, take the measurements and go to your local fabricator so that you can have a top made. That's that's an interesting response. So, there you have it. I kind of got burned on this, but I'm trying to make the best of it. So for those of you who may have an old W100 laying around and you would like to part with the top, would you like to help me out and supply me with a top? I would be most appreciative. Contact me. The email address is in the description. The mailing address is also available there in the description. And would appreciate being able to make a cube out of this and not tear apart another chassis just for the lid. It just seems ridiculous to not be able to find a lid to these chassis anymore. What's coming here on the channel is an update to the office rig build. You'll see where we're headed here. I'll keep you guys informed. Stay safe. God bless. do I use this? I can't use it in its current form. So at the end of hi. Hi. Oh, you want to read Bluey? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's take a break from recording and read some Bluey. Okay.